I joined the United States Navy, waited 2-3 years, got my jersey, and then I got my career-ending injury.
On the same day?
Same day.
The same day you got your jersey, your volleyball career was over.
Finito. Yeah, holy shit. Like, I was depressed because I could not play the sport that I loved so much. I put so much effort into it, and now I'm like, okay, I can barely feel my arm. This is great. It can be taken away in a second. I had to learn how to tie my shoe, turn a doorknob, put my uniform on, like everything you take for granted, I had to learn how to do again. I'm not even 21 yet, and I can't even work out really anymore. I think that's something that athletes, they hold in and don't realize, okay, you are an athlete, but you no longer have that athletic ability that you had because of X, Y, and Z. No matter what it is, I'm still competitive to this day. Being an athlete, like, it's always ingrained in us, and it doesn't even have to be, you know, a sport. People told me I wasn't gonna be a model. I've modeled for some really cool things lately that I don't think I can talk about, but
that's allowed.
It's cool. Little C would be so happy. And then the military, we didn't talk about, I couldn't talk about it. You know, there's like a stigma with mental health. It was tough, but we're good now. For the most part.
Ciara,
Yes.
are you an athlete?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever wavered on that?
No.
I like it. Give us the brief version. Mm-hmm. What things did you do back in the day? What were your sports growing up?
Yeah.
Where'd that go?
I think primarily volleyball. Like, that was my bread and butter. That was like, anyone that knows me will associate volleyball and Ciara, or CC is what people call me at home.
Amazing.
Even when I lived in Virginia for a little bit. But I did play basketball, did for a little bit, but I'm only like 5'5", so I was like tossed around like a rag doll, and I hated it. So that was supposed to be like my sport, but I like had like a love-hate relationship with it. And then like when I was little, gymnastics for a little bit, and then softball, but I hated being outside. My mom found out. So yeah, I would like put the glove on my head, and like it was too hot. So, but volleyball, that was my sport.
Little Cece's just out there trying to make shade for herself.
No,
like
indoor only.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, why do you say that basketball was supposed to be your sport?
Because I started with basketball before I even touched a volleyball. Mm-hmm. I grew up playing like the mini sports and like at the YMCA, and I loved it. But then like as I got older, I was just like, I'm tiny. Like, I'm so tiny. My counterparts are like 5'11", 5'10", and I'm just being pushed around. So I'm Gucci on basketball. So I think my last time playing basketball, oh my God, this was like a decade ago, literally. I think I was maybe high school, 9th grade, 9th, 10th grade. Yeah, and then I was like done so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So high school then, did you just go single sport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started basketball first. When did you start volleyball?
6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah. So
see, this is always fascinating to me, and this is totally why I asked you. So I was basketball, volleyball, soccer growing up.
Okay.
And started soccer earliest, like typical. Then started basketball and didn't start volleyball till 6th grade.
Okay.
And I find it so fascinating just like asking people and friends and teammates that I've had. It's like 6th grade, if you say that in other sports, sounds like such a late time to start.
Yeah.
But volleyball's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like I know there's like kids camps and stuff that people will like try out, but a lot of times people haven't started until a little bit later.
And I think with volleyball, because I coached it for a while, that if you're really from a volleyball family, then you start early. But if you're not, like I feel like 5th grade, 6th grade is really, maybe even 8th grade is like when people really start getting into it.
Yeah.
But if you come from a volleyball family, you're touching a volleyball like right out of the womb.
Totally. Because they're probably coaching.
Right.
Like if you're in a volleyball family, people are coaching, people are still involved with it. So it's like you're the kid getting dragged to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
You said you coached.
Yep.
So how long did you play volleyball?
6th grade to senior high school. I was supposed to go to college. I had a couple D1 offers, D2, but something in me, my mom, she hates when I talk about this, but I was supposed to go, but I joined the military instead. So I left for the Navy when I was 17, 18, and then I played volleyball for the Navy for the all-Navy sports team. Then I got hurt. So that was like my career-ending injury. I think I was like 20. I wasn't even 21 yet. I think I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had 6th grade to 12th, and then coached pretty much for after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So many things to that. Yes. Okay. Talk about it.
Yeah.
So had D1 offers.
Yep.
D2 offers.
Yep.
18-year-old Ciara's brain.
Yeah.
Where was she at? What was going on for her?
Yeah.
Like, where was she at? How hard of that a decision was that? And kind of what went into that?
Yeah, so obviously growing up, like we all know, junior Olympic sports are not cheap. The travel, hotels, even just paying for like the fee. So part of me, like I felt terrible, you know, because my mom paid all this money. I could talk about this forever, but like it was, you know, I was like,
this is the place to do it. This is the place to do it. Welcome.
But it was just like, okay. And then luckily for me, my high school was a Paideia school. So basically, it's based on this book called Paideia Proposal. And essentially, our teachers really teach us about life things. So they want the kids to be involved in the community. And then my senior class, it was more about like personal finance. We learned about like mortgage rates and all that, like which most people don't learn about in high school.
Totally.
And my coach, Coach Dragoo, shout out to him, he taught us about, you know, credit cards and, you know, student loans. And I was like, okay, even if I do have a full ride, I wanted to be a nurse anesthetist at that time. That is like an arm and a leg and a kidney. Sports is only going to take me so far, but I really don't want to be $500,000 in debt. So I looked into the military, and I come from a military family, and that's kind of like what I did. My parents weren't too happy about it, but I did it anyways. And I also too wanted to get out of my hometown. So I loved my hometown. I love Chattanooga, but I was just ready to do something bigger. So
how do you feel about that now?
Amazing.
Yeah.
My great-grandfather always said, like, never have any regrets. And that's something that I don't regret at all. I don't regret, like, I feel bad for my mom because she paid all that money, but I still think that money that she spent still put me up to coach and then play for the Navy and also be able to do other things outside of just playing volleyball.
Yeah.
So I don't regret it, like, at all.
Going into the Navy.
Yeah.
Did you have in your mind or know, like, well, there are still sports teams.
Absolutely.
So like you also knew that you had another path into it. It wasn't like, okay, when I make this decision, I have to, you know, there goes athlete identity.
Yeah, so my recruiter was like, yeah, there's a section called, and he honestly probably used this to bait me in, but it's fine. There's all Navy sports, and I was like, cool. And like they have, I think the only thing they don't have is football, but I know they had like softball, and they had, I think they have golf. They have all these sports for people who are like us, who are athletes that still want to play at that higher level.
Right.
And so I did that. So I think every year I tried to apply for it, and unfortunately, like, the boat that I was on, it was hard because we were going out to missions and things. Yeah. But then finally my commanding officer said yes, and I got to go. And it was great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many, and you said you did that, how many seasons?
I only did that one season because I got hurt. Yeah. So the day that I got my jersey and I got to have USA across my chest, which any athlete who has that feeling knows, I got hurt.
The day you got your jersey, you got hurt?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
No. I'm not kidding.
So you spent, what, 2 years, like, asking, waiting for your boat to be able to be able...
It's like 2-3 years,
to get on the team.
Yep.
You try out for the team,
Yeah.
or...
You try out.
Okay,
yeah, so there's probably about 30 of us that want to try out, who are all former or all athletes and played volleyball, you know, whatever.
Competitively.
And it's very competitive. And I made it, got my jersey, and then I got hurt. Yeah.
What happened?
So my 6'5" middle, love her to death. Built like Serena, it's all muscular, love her. We were doing a drill. I'm a libero, so I'm tiny, obviously. Shout out to liberos out there. We were doing a passing drill, and our coach was just hitting the ball over the net. We just had to work on like calling the ball. And my biggest thing when I would coach was say, you always need to call the ball because you will get hurt.
Absolutely.
No matter what level you are. And her and I just didn't call it for whatever reason. So I landed here, she landed on top of me, and her elbow landed right between my shoulder blades. So there's brachial plexus, your nerves up here.
Yeah.
And I had nerve damage.
Are you kidding?
No.
Also, what a weird freaking injury.
I know. Yeah. So when that happened, in our military orders, it said if we got hurt, you had to go back to your boat. And I was like, I'm not going back to my boat. Like, I worked my ass off. Like, I'm doing this. And I went to put pressure on my arm, and it was like I didn't even have an arm. And they took me to the ER, and I was like bawling. And they did all these x-rays. I think I had like 200 x-rays because they just thought it was bone. And I was like, it's not bone. My coach was like, it's definitely muscle or nerve, whatever. Yeah. And it took for me to fly from Jacksonville, Florida to Norfolk, Virginia, so that they could do it at the major hospital, finally get me all the right stuff. And they're like, yeah, you have nerve damage. So I had to go through 2.5 years of occupational therapy, physical therapy. I had to learn how to tie my shoe, turn a doorknob, put my uniform on, like everything you take for granted, I had to learn how to do again. And I'm right-handed. So that was my career-ending injury, not even at 21. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
No.
Yeah.
If you're years out from your last game and something still feels off, you're not alone. Most retired athletes don't even realize that they're carrying the weight of an identity loss they never processed. We designed a breathwork experience specifically for retired athletes that helps you release what's been sitting in your body since you stopped competing. The emotions you were taught to push down, the doubt, the disconnect. This breathwork is completely virtual and takes less than an hour. I've done breathwork with this facilitator over 100 times, and I promise you, every single session hits different. I used to think breathwork was woo-woo, and now it's a non-negotiable part of my routine. Lifetime access, one purchase. Grab the discount in the description.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
No.
Yeah.
That is a weird sports injury.
Very
anyway.
Much. Yeah.
Especially how it happened.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you like collide with the player? Or
right.
like you were talking about with basketball, you were like, I was getting tossed around
right.
all over the place.
Yeah.
Not volleyball.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I was always that kid. I was like jumping over things, like diving into stuff. Never like we had like a crutches hoorah in our garage, but like I never had like something super major happen. Like I had a couple concussions, you know, a couple like, you know, twisted things, but nothing crazy. And then once that happened, like it was bad. And I definitely recognize now that I went through like a depressive spill, and I was like, I can't believe like I'm not even 21 yet, and I can't even work out really anymore, like whatever. So
you also had a physical job, like all the things.
Yeah.
My background, which I don't know that we've even talked about this, but I'm a physical therapist by practice.
Okay. So you understand.
Yes, which is also why my brain over here is like reeling about like, what a weird injury. That's horrible.
Yeah. So I didn't even realize like that could happen, but obviously like anything is possible. But yeah, everything I took for granted, like even just writing my name, I had to learn with my left hand for a while. I was in a sling, and then the Navy was like, yeah, we can do surgery. But I was like, the Navy, no offense to the Navy, love the Navy, but they have like a weird track record with surgeries. And with the nerves, I just wasn't okay. And like I did a lot of research, and they were like, it's 50-50. So I was like, I'm not taking that chance. Right. So I just did, you know, the occupational therapy, the physical therapy. I tried, it's the needle.
Like
acupuncture, tried that. And yeah, it was a long, like 2.5 years.
Dang.
And then that I was still I was coaching, but I was definitely realizing like I was battling depression with like not being able to play with my team and like just jump in on a drill because I couldn't even move my arm. So I think that's something that athletes, they hold in and don't realize, okay, you're no longer an athlete, or you are an athlete, but you no longer have that athletic ability that you had because of X, Y, and Z. So it was something that I had to work through and like talk about and be okay with, especially with being in the military, because you don't talk about mental health. So it was tough, but we're good now. For the most part.
Seriously, like it only pops up every now and then, okay?
Yeah, a couple spasms every now and then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, at 20, you also had to already start to grapple with some of these things, which again is one of those weird things where, you know, people talk about sports and it's like, oh, you know, they develop leadership, develop all these different things. It's like, also, though, when you have a weird situation or you just have an unexpected situation, in a sense, it brought something positive out of it, of like where you had to work through that. Yeah. But at the same time, that's horrible. Yeah. How did you realize, did you feel like the depression and all of that while you were in it? Or was it kind of like a once you got through it, then you could see it for what it was?
Oh, it was definitely like once I got through it, once I was out of the military, going into like my civilian life, that I was like, oh shit, I was like depressed. Like, you know, because I did coach Junior Olympic. I coached for Coastal in Virginia, shout out to them. I coached boys and girls, and then I also coached at Norfolk State. So like I was able to still see, and I was still able to coach, but like.
And this was while you were rehabbing and everything?
Yeah, that was while I was rehabbing. So it was like, okay, I can't really hit a ball over the net. Wow, and I'm a coach, you know, and people weren't really understanding that, or like I didn't feel like going into it. But then it was once I like removed myself from the sport and took a break, and I sat back and I was like, yeah, like I legit was depressed, and I had to go through that. I had to work through it and realize like I'm probably no longer going to play volleyball again. Hopefully one day, we'll see, but we're back in, you know, the gym. But yeah, I definitely, once I removed myself, took a step back, I realized that I was, you know, depressed.
Did you get there on your own?
Yeah, I would say. I think talking to one of my friends, his name is Ray, when I worked at Norfolk Naval Shipyard when I was a civilian, him and I would always have like deep talks at work. I don't know what it was. He's just one of those people. He's like, dude, like, you know, like we could talk about camera gear, we could talk about like content things. But him and I were talking about something, and I was like, I think we were sitting in my office. I was like, I think I was depressed, and like that was something in the military we didn't talk about. I couldn't talk about it. It was like a stigma with mental health.
Right.
And yeah, holy shit. Like I was depressed because I could not play the sport that I loved so much. I put so much effort into, my mom put so much money and effort into, and now I'm like, okay, I can barely feel my arm. This is great.
Yeah, not only did you just have the like, okay, now here I am in this gym coaching.
Yeah.
Maybe this is going to sound weird to some people, but probably not, because most people who are listening to this are athletes. But it's
Yeah.
like, here I am in this gym coaching. I can't even show these kids what I can actually do.
Right.
So in terms of like the validation and the external validation of being able to like coach, show your skill,
Yeah.
basically have authority in the space,
Yeah.
is such a hard and weird mental battle anyway.
Yeah.
Let alone like you literally couldn't do it because you were rehabbing from an injury that took you out of playing that sport.
Yeah.
And you were in your 20s, like
that
early
was,
20s.
Yeah. Couldn't even buy beer yet.
Yeah.
And that's definitely it. And like I obviously was lucky because I had been coaching before that injury. So like the Junior Olympic Club knew who I was, and some of the kids I coached knew who I was. And then I got to Norfolk State because I knew the coaches. But like when new kids would come in, they'd be like, "Who is this chick?" Like, and obviously like I could talk a story all day long. You could talk and talk, but like I couldn't play. I could pass the ball, but like I couldn't, serve, or I couldn't spike the ball because of my shoulder. So, yeah. Yeah, man.
Then too, where my brain goes is like, then you're also not getting the physical release of it.
Yeah.
So like, so often, you hear athletes where it's like, yeah, okay, playing competitively, years are ending, okay, go into coaching, but then you are still, running drills, you're still hitting and things. So it's like your body's still getting those endorphins from it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, now I'm here.
Yeah.
Still in the same space that was taken away from me.
Yeah.
And I can't get the physical release of it, even though it's not me playing.
Right.
And all I can do is use my words.
Yeah. 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 And I think too, like my biggest lesson to my girls and to the guys that I coach, I was like, call the damn ball. And like I was like, I'm literally a prime example of you not calling the ball, and I can't play volleyball anymore. And so like that would, and I was like, it can be taken away in a second. And like the parents obviously love that I could give them that analogy, but also at the same time, it's like shitty because I'm 20 years old coaching, 21, 22 at that point. Like, yeah, I can't even hit a ball over the net.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not trying to scare the shit out of you, but also at the same time, like freaking call the ball.
Yeah.
As athletes, we're taught to compartmentalize everything, push it down, stay focused, win. But that doesn't always serve us as adults. So we designed a breathwork experience specifically for retired athletes. It isn't talk therapy, it's a somatic release that helps you process a decade of suppressed emotions in one powerful session. It's completely virtual and takes less than an hour. Grab your discount code in the description. You're like, I'm not trying to scare the shit out of you, but also at the same time, like freaking call the ball.
Yeah.
How long did you coach for after that? And then kind of how did you make that decision to transition out of coaching?
Oh my God, now we're sitting over doing math and I have to like date back. So I got my injury in like 2016, I believe.
Okay.
I got out 2018. And I coached, I think, a little bit after, like right before COVID. So like a couple years.
Oh, dang.
And then the world shut down.
This was not that long ago.
No, yeah. So it's probably only a couple years, but I was coaching before that. I started coaching when I went through the military, I got to Virginia Beach, and I love coaching. My coach from high school, Coach Lowry, he was like, yeah, like, you need to coach. Like, that's what you need to do. So I needed to find something that was, like, home almost when I got to Virginia because I was like, I don't have family here. So volleyball is, like, my second home. So I coached at my first high school, loved it. That coach introduced me to the Junior Olympic team, and that's how I got in. So I coached that for a little bit. I got to Virginia Beach 2013. Yeah, 2013? I think that's right. I'm like playing mental numbers.
I like that. Yeah.
2013, 2014. And I immediately started coaching from there. Yeah. So I would say probably like after my injury, only a couple years I was coaching.
Okay.
And I would go in and I had a couple teams under my belt. Like I did girls and then I switched over to boys. And then the boys 18s team was like my last team. And then I was just like, I need a break. Yeah. And then I went full into content creation, which.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So that was your step.
Yeah.
Have you ever made content about sports?
I think I posted something, it was a couple years ago, about my injury because I'd finally like felt good about being in the gym and like lifting and like weights again because that was like my biggest thing was like, okay, I can't go hard in the gym, I can't weight lift, what can I do? So my therapist was like swimming. So I did a lot of swimming, shout out to my broad shoulders from volleyball, but even just swimming. So swimming and yoga were like the two things that I really hit hard on. And then something one day was like, try being back in the gym again. And I think it was just like an outfit post or something around that nature. And I had talked about it and I was like, yeah, like I went through this as a, athlete. I had the career ending injury, but like I'm back and I feel good, but I know like my limits, so to speak. If my arm starts to feel like the TV when like, the fuzzies are on, I gotta stop.
That's a beautiful way to describe it. Correct.
Yes.
Correct statement.
Yes. So yeah, I definitely probably posted about it a couple times and I tried to like in my Instagram stories and stuff. But I still think like people obviously don't know this of like, this is what you went through. So like I wanted to get back in the gym. I wanted to lift weights again and I was going to figure out hell or high water how to get there. So I mean, I think it's just another way for me to connect with people. So I definitely should talk about it more, but it's one of those things that like I forget about. I'm just like, whatever.
No shoulds. You're not allowed to should on yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to do
shoulds.
anything.
I like that.
Yeah. But it's just so interesting, even just like the way that you're talking about it, because I know that we've met before, but like we haven't been able to have full conversation. But even like you were saying, like, you were the kid that as you were playing, your coaches were like, you need to coach one day.
Yeah.
And so it's like to me also, because I was also that kid.
Yeah.
It was so ingrained in you.
Yeah.
All of this was not that long ago.
Yeah. Like once I do the mental math and I'm like, all right, whiteboard, we're in 2025. Yeah, like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would coach again in the future?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was telling Steph, my fiance, like I would love to coach again. I don't know where I'm gonna fit that into my schedule, but I miss it. I do miss it. There's just something, I mean, like something about coaching, something about teaching a skill, especially the libero, like it's that special position. Like I love my position. I liked wearing the different color jersey. Maybe that's the Leo in me, but I digress. But I do miss it and I do want to get back into it. I just gotta figure out when I'm gonna fit that into my schedule.
Yeah.
So I 100% would.
Okay. I'm also tossing this out there. Tell us a little bit about what you do now. You kind of talked about how like your step after coaching was you just picked up and started content creation.
Yeah.
Had you started that a little bit before and then knew that's what you were going to do full time, or did you like, I got to find something, this is what it's going to be?
Yeah, so my friends when I was active duty, and actually I have a Facebook memory, I tell people this all the time, that pops up. Yeah. And I think it was like 2011, 2012, and it was like, I wanted to start a blog. What should I start it on? And literally all my friends from high school rattled off fashion. Seriously. Fashion. Music, fashion, sports. Like, but everything was primarily fashion. So I was always in the back of my mind, like I wanted to do social media and I wanted to do marketing, but social media really wasn't a thing like when I was in high school, we were in high school. I think Facebook had just started, or MySpace, whatever. But marketing wasn't really what it is now. So like when I would tell people about it, they would kind of be like, meh. Like that's why I was like, I wanted to be an anesthesiologist, like make my family proud, go the traditional route. So I had that always in the back of my mind. I always have that memory that pops up every single year. But then when I was in the military, my friends also saw that like I was that friend that would like dress up for anything. And I didn't care. Like I would wear, not a suit per se, but like I would just dress nice.
Yeah.
And so like they were like, you need to be posting on social media. You need to be posting on Instagram.
Interesting.
And this was like during like the menswear, like 2012, 2013, 2014. So I wish I would have started then, but I didn't. And it is what it is. But 2018 is when I really like pushed for it. So I was doing like, I forgot what I called them, but it was like, I would literally take a watch and just do like an overshot and it would be like my whole outfit. So you can kind of see it. Yeah. And then that's kind of how I started, and then more into like the brand partnerships, like right around COVID. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So it came out of you were already doing it. And then your friends were just like, no, actually lean into this. Yeah. Because it's a thing.
Yeah. And like people were like commenting and like following, and I was like, this is gonna be cool. And then like I didn't realize like it'd be like what I am today. You know? So
what do you do today?
That's a great question. I do a lot of things.
I know. I was like, Ciara's gonna hate this question because this is how we answer when people ask us. We're like, well,
Steph would be like, she does everything.
Which part? Which part do you want to know about?
Corporate side is Ciara. I'm an associate director of client strategy for an influencer agency. Non-corporate side, I'm a content creator, photographer. I love videography. Girls, gays, and nays, all things fashion, lifestyle, and fitness. So I'm gonna be like,
perfect. I'm just gonna read my bio out.
Yeah. I've got it memorized.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah,
I feel like too, knowing you from like your whole fashion side and all of that, right? Because that's kind of how we met in a weird roundabout way, even though I'm not in the fashion side of it. But it's one of those that's interesting too, because like you said, like that's something that you've always had. That's been a consistent for you throughout the whole thing, to where like your high school friends and people that know you immediately, they toss that out as like what you should do it on. And two, I feel like, I don't know if I always associate it to athletes, because I feel like two athletes kind of tend to go one of two ways. They either really care about what they look like and what they wear, and like they want to be a vibe, or they don't at all, and they're literally just throwing on their team sweatshirt every single day.
It's like the Jason Kelsey and Jalen Hurts.
Literally.
He's like, I want to play football. What do I care? I'm wearing flip-flops and jeans.
Yes.
I love him.
Or
not my vibe.
yeah. So it's just so fascinating though too, because I think for me, I was literally I'd like put a cute outfit on to go to school, and then my mom was like, you just throw a sweatshirt over it every day. And I'm like, yeah. And then I was just wearing the sweatshirt. So I also love that was like a constant for you throughout all of this.
Yeah, I think too, like my mom and my stepdad played a part, because like my mom and stepdad, they dressed to like the nines.
Do they?
Yeah. So my mom, like shout out to Mom Elisa, like she literally, even to this day, like she's one of those that travels with like 4 suitcases, and that's where I get it from. But like growing up, I'd see her lay her outfits out and like look at the color scheme and look at the accessories she pulled out, look at the shoes. And even with my stepdad, like he was a detective, so like seeing the suits that he wore and like how he matched with the pocket square and the tie. So like it really started at a young age for me. And like my mom had always dressed my sister and I very nice, but like also watching them put their outfits together kind of played a part. And like, okay, I could also do styling, or I could also talk about like, hey, this is how you do this, or this is how you do this, or don't wear this with that, or do it and just don't care. So like, you can't wear black and navy. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. I like it.
Yeah.
My brain is still like, okay, when is Ciara gonna start making women's sports and or just sports content mixed in with her fashion content? I can feel it. I can feel it coming.
You sound like my agent. He's like, so can we throw this in? I'm like, yes, Zach, we'll throw it in. Just give me a second. Give me a second.
Okay, no, because this does, which I haven't even told you about this, but it's now happened, I think like 3 or 4 times, that randomly your face has popped up in someone else's story that I've seen. And obviously with like being in no former athlete space and just what I like and what I follow, it's like my algorithm is based around sports and sports events and people working in sports and everything. And then I'm like, one of them was like Ashlyn Harris. I'm sitting there. I'm just like clicking through stories. I like click back, hold my finger down. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, I know whose face that is right next to her. I was like, hold up. And then I like start clicking through, because then I'm just like, okay, what event is this? Yeah. So you're kind of getting there anyway.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. Is that a conscious effort of like going to those types of events, or are those the kind of events that you get invited to anyway?
Yeah, I just get invited to. So it was a Marie Claire event, and they like said like they had like a whole run of show, and like I saw Ashlyn Harris, and I was like, the athlete in me was like, I have to be there. She's literally standing on the stage and she's like having her arms up, and I was like, shoot or shoot. And I like sprinted, and I'm trying to figure out if anybody has a video of me sprinting up to her to stand next to her.
Is there a recording of the talk?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm sure someone has me sprinting, because all of my friends were sitting around me and they were like dying because they were still sitting in their seats. And I was like, if she says, like, I'm going. So yeah, I talked to her while she was up there. Super sweet, super just chill, humble. Talked about women's sports, told her about like Marsha's, because it literally that night was the Grand Prix opening that I was going to.
Incredible.
And I was trying to invite them, but they were going to the Liberty game that night. They were flying back to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talked to her and Laura for like at least 5-10 minutes and just chatted up, and it was everyone was like, you really shot your shot. And I was like, my mom told me don't take no for an answer.
But that's the thing too though, which again is the athlete piece also, because like other people will go to that same event and they're there for a completely different reason. So it's like that means nothing to them. Right. To where it's like, oh yeah, no, it's like that little athlete woven through, and talk about fashion too. That's like everything wrapped into one there for you. Okay, I'll say my overarching question. How are you doing? Now that we've talked
she's trying
about
to get deep.
it. That's right. How are we all doing now?
Yeah. I think I'm good. Like I'm in like a really good headspace. My fiance literally is like my ride or die. My mom, my best friend, like I'm trying to get her to move here, but it's fine. Hopefully when she watches this, it'll convince her.
Mom, did you hear how many times I
She's
referenced
in Indianapolis.
you?
I mean, they've got the fever, so I
dang,
feel that.
okay.
Yeah, some of my family's there, but I love what I do. I have like zero complaints. Like the only thing I just want to travel more, but I gotta fit that in. But other than that, like I'm good. Like I could not ask for anything more.
Yeah.
So
What other things or parts of your athlete persona do you think still show up in your work today?
I'm trying to think of little old libero Ciara. I'm like, I was
that.
very bossy. Anyone that knew me then would tell you I was so, and I'm sorry if you played with me. I was a little asshole, but it's fine.
Was that because of intensity?
Yes, I was very intense and I hated losing. I was like, some people like just didn't care or like they would just like shrug it off. I hated losing. Like I was pissed. Even more like stepdad hated us losing too. So like it was like a whole thing. Like the whole family, like we hated losing. So I think just me being like the leadership aspect of like being the commander of like the backcourt, and then also to being curious as well to see like, hey, like if I do a float serve versus a hard serve, like how is that gonna work?
Interesting.
And honestly too, just like doing it and like just being tough and just like going after it, diving over stuff.
Yeah. Just getting it done.
Just getting it done.
Like get it done.
Yeah, and that's translated over to like my content of like just do it. Don't care what anyone says. Obviously, like I have the hateful comments. I have people are like, "Oh, social media's not going to go anywhere, whatever." I don't care. I'm going to do it anyways. And people told me I wasn't going to be a model. I've modeled for some really cool things lately that I don't think I can talk about. But
That's allowed.
It's cool. But I did it, and little C would be so happy, and it's validating, but it's also like I knew I could do this. So
yeah. No, but I think that intensity that you were talking about, it's that moment of like, if someone meets you through sport, like if someone meets you at a tryout, versus if they just like meet you at school or like meet you on the street.
Two totally different. Two totally different.
The number of teammates that I had that were like, Erin, because they met me at tryouts in junior high, and they were like, I hated you for a month.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, I hated you for a month. And they were like, you were a bitch.
Yep.
They were like, I absolutely hated you. And then, like, off the court, and they're like, and then I was like, I freaking love you.
Yeah.
Like, you're just so fine. And so it's funny, too. I feel
yeah.
like, when we met and, like, the vibe that I feel like both of us kind of get, it's like, go with the flow, like, chill. You're just meeting people, like, super nice. But I can totally picture...
Oh, I was a bitch.
I can totally
like
picture the switch.
My high school friends who played volleyball, they're going to watch this and laugh, and I know they're going to comment and be like, yeah, that was Ciara.
I'm so
I was
stoked.
A bitch, and I'm sorry, but I hated to lose. So
I'm sorry, but I was still friends with you.
Somebody has to do it.
It's
somebody
true.
has to do it.
It's true. And also volleyball, too. Like, I also just love that volleyball was your main sport. Because, too, within that, volleyball for me was the sport that I had to figure out how to tailor my intensity. Okay. Where like soccer and basketball, you just kind of go and slam into people and stuff. And volleyball was the one that I would get so intense and so pissed off at myself. Like I just shanked them. They're like, all right, come to the middle and clap. And I just shanked that ball to the back wall. And you want me to come in and cheer for myself? And I would get so mad. But I will also say that under the guise of I understand why. Yeah. I understand why you have to do that because volleyball is also such a different game where it's like, no, the game stops and resets every second. So if you're just over there reeling, like it's a mind game.
It is.
Even more so than some of the other sports just because there's not that stopping period. Yeah. It's like if you mess up in basketball, if you turn the ball over, you have to immediately start sprinting to do something different. Yeah. Versus it's like, you shank and then you stand there and you're shank.
And too, in like soccer and basketball, like you can kind of like talk shit, you know? Like, but at volleyball,
you're on opposite sides.
Opposite sides. Yeah. And if I yell at you, I'm going to get a red card or a yellow card. And
and everyone's going to hear it.
Yep. Unless, my middles, they were at the front of the line, but like, that was it. So.
Somewhere between your last game and now, you disconnected from your body. We designed a breathwork experience specifically for retired athletes. It's therapeutic, it's transformative, and it helps you release the limiting beliefs and the self-doubt that have been holding you back since you stopped competing. The whole thing is virtual, it's less than an hour, and it's done from wherever you are. Use the listener discount code in the description. And everyone's gonna hear it.
Yep. Unless, my middles, they were at the front of the line, but like, that was it. So.
Do you feel like with your kind of the route that you've gone from separating from sport, but that it's now kind of starting to like do a mini U-turn back to it, to where people can like see and notice and are like, oh yeah, you were probably an athlete growing up.
Yeah.
Do you feel that?
Oh yeah, I get that or military all the time.
Do you?
Yeah. They're like, just the way like you're walking, like your posture, like my shoulders.
Will you hold yourself?
My shoulders? Yeah, I have giant shoulders.
You're like, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
How does that feel when someone acknowledges that about you?
Yeah. And I think that's just like the athlete. And like any athlete that gets recognized to be an athlete, no matter what stage you were at, you're like, yeah, I was. I played X, Y, and Z, or I have like this medal, like it's fine. Or I coached at this school. Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Which is one of those things that some athletes would tell you, and then some athletes would be like, no, you know, we don't. And it's like, yeah, we all do. We all do.
100%.
Even for me, like I had that realization of like, in my brain, I was like, I'm not a performer. Like, I'm not a, you know, and it's like, you wanted people at the game. Like, you literally...
Are you coming to my game?
You literally went out on the court and you were like, okay, here we go. Yeah. Let's show them what we're working. But it's, you know, my brain always equated it to like, I'm not going to go and like sing.
Yeah.
Or I was like, well, no shit. Like, that's not your talent. Like, that's not your skill. Yeah. But being acknowledged for the things that you're good at.
100%.
Feels real good.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like that, like, feeling of being a performer? Let me put it this way. You had talked about how when you started doing fashion, it's like you were doing like a top-down shot of like your wrist, your outfit.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to step in front of the camera, or was that like an immediate for you?
No, it was definitely hard. And I definitely like struggled with, not body dysphoria, but like body imagery, because I grew up in the South. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, very much, they call it the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
And everyone, and I would tell you this, like everyone that like knew me then, like they not knew me, but like they like knew that I went through some image of like, okay, like everybody around me, I was like one of 2 kids out of 100 that was black. Yeah. And so everyone around me had blonde hair, blue eyes, or had like, you know, they didn't look like me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can never be a model. I can't be a model. I can't do that, you know? And up until literally like I was, you know, created the New Mix, which is obviously the brand, I would always have my sunglasses on because I was like really picky about my eyes. And like, so if you look at my older content, I always had sunglasses on. And so it took for my best friend now, Ciara, shout out to her, to tell me to take the damn sunglasses off, and my mom, and just do it naturally. And so it took a lot of practice and a lot of like digging deep, just because of I had a lot of stuff from my childhood that I was like, okay, like I didn't look like the people in the you know, in the images. I didn't look like the people on, you know, the cover girl or whatever. I can never do that. And fast forward today, little C would be like ecstatic. So it was not easy.
Yeah.
And people, I'm sure, probably think that like, you know, oh, she's done this forever. No, I haven't done it for forever. I mean, technically like a couple years, but it took a lot for me to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
So
with sport, there's so much external validation of wanting people to be at the games and or wanting to be recognized for your thing. I have obviously been talking about and thinking about no former athlete topics now for a couple years, and even still recently my brain was like, being able to walk into a gym before a game. Yeah. And when you're one of the better players on the team, you walk in and you know that anybody that's there, especially when it's high school, right? It's like they're local people. So it's like, you know, anybody that's there knows who you are, even in your street clothes. Yeah. You know the other team is watching. You know people are watching your behaviors. Like as you walk up the bleachers to just sit down for the JV game. Like that visceral feeling. Again, if you had asked, like, Erin trained to be humble back in the day, like, I'm not humble now, believe me, but it's that moment of, like, oh, no, that felt damn good. Yeah. Like, that felt good. Like, I remember feeling and knowing that people were watching me as I, like, went to get something from the concession stand. Do you feel or do you get that same feeling when people, like, recognize you because of social media, or you know what I mean? Yes and no. So I also have like I'm so awkward, and like I have like low-key social anxiety. Oh, do you? So like people have like seen me out grocery shopping. So I used to live South Philly. There's like every, you know, in the city, like you can walk everywhere. You can go to the grocery store, and my apartment building was right across from was it Sprouts? Yeah, it was a Sprouts and a Starbucks. Yeah. So people would recognize me and see me, and I'm like in like
baggy clothes and like my hair is like up in a bun and like I have my glasses on and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like not on right now, but hi, you know. Sometimes and like that's people all the time. Like if I'm awkward, I'm sorry, but like I'm such an introvert, it's not even funny. But I'm also an extrovert, so I do love it. But I'm also like I'm awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a blend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like too, sometimes as people get into content creation or as people start to grow and their channels do get bigger and then they do have those moments, whether it's just locally or as it gets a lot bigger, people recognize you. Yeah. And some people not lean into it as in like make it a whole thing, but like some people are like okay with it. Yeah. And like just kind of adjust with it, and some people like see or feel that and then totally freak out and like backpedal and or just like stop doing everything. Yeah. Do you feel like when that started to happen, obviously you were like, oh, I guess I have to think about this at other times, but did it ever make you feel like, oh wait, I don't want to be known for these things, or I don't want that?
No, because I mean, I knew what I was kind of getting into, like as my platform got bigger, and my good friend Rashad, Mr. Little, he's on Instagram as well. He was like, you're going to be that female, like you're going to be that person. And I always said that, you know, I do what I do because you look at Ellen or you look at like Ashlyn, but she actually does style herself, so I can't really use her. But like Ellen, for example, like obviously some of her outfits were cool and like they were dope. And I'm like, where did you get that blazer or whatever? She's not dressing herself. She has a stylist. So I wanted, you know, people like myself or anyone really to look up to me and have that longevity of my brand so that my content is always timeless. There's plenty of menswear. There's plenty of menswear bloggers. I could name 5 off the top of my head because there's so many, but there's no one really that was in my realm when I started this. So that's why I was like, it's fine. Like if I do get recognized, it's fine. And it's blended into, you know, the girls, gays, and theys, but even I've had straight women who say, I follow you for my husband, who came up to me and they're like, hey, I follow you for fashion advice because my husband. And I'm like, that's cool. Like I know you're not really my audience, but like you are, and I love that. So I never wanted to backpedal, and I never wanted to be like, oh crap, like I don't want to do this, I don't want to get recognized. I just also always put out there too, like, hey, if I am awkward, or like, please don't just like tap me because I do have a little bit of PTSD, like just be cautious of that. But for the most part, people have always been respectful and like wanted to grab a picture or just talk, even to the point where I was getting cheesesteaks with my mom at Ishkabibble's and somebody recognized me and she wanted a picture and I was like, Mom, I'm literally mid cheesesteak bite, but like it's fine. It's fine. Amazing. So no, I love it, but again, like I knew what I was getting myself into, and like I knew I wanted to build that longevity and build that legacy for my name and my brand. So
there is power in that too of like, it's like when people know something about you or can like equate things without you having to tell them, without it having to be a whole thing, you know, it's like that whole, I just let my work speak for itself.
Yeah. And also too, like I don't put everything online, but like I definitely have like blended or like, all right, cool, I can do this or I can do that, you know, I can speak about this, and like I've found that like perfect middle ground. And it obviously took some time because I also didn't want to be like, I don't want to put my whole life out there, you know, it's the internet, like everything stays for forever, but also like people can relate to me, you know, there's always someone to relate to somebody. I tell that to everyone. I'm like, there's always an influencer for everyone because someone can relate to you, and it's more than one person. So I do stuff, or I put stuff out just so like, all right, this is about me, but I'm also not gonna give you guys everything because like I want some stuff for myself. So
love it.
What
other thoughts, feelings when you think about the athlete side of you? Anything else that is twirling around in your brain that you want to share?
No, I mean, I just think that being an athlete, like, it's always ingrained in us. And, like, no matter what it is, I'm so competitive to this day. Like, I literally play football in the backyard with my nephew, and I actually twisted my back because we were playing so hard. And I woke up and I was like, is this 30? Because, Lord Jesus, my back hurts.
She's here. She's here, people.
But I think we'll always be competitive. And I think as an athlete, like, we'll always find something. And it doesn't even have to be, you know, a sport. It could be like, you know, content creation, or it could be, you know, whatever it is. But I think just being an athlete, like, it's cool, you know, and like it shaped me for the better. So, and I don't regret it at all.
Man, your story still. I'm sorry, but also like,
it's all good.
You did it.
Yeah.
You freaking did it.
It's back. It's fine.
It's there. It's still attached, people. It's still attached.
Still attached.
I love it. This has been amazing.
Yes.
I'm so glad we finally got to do this. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review. You taking that 5 minutes makes a huge difference and helps us to be able to make more episodes like this. And if you want to see more content in between the episodes, follow us at NoFormerAthlete on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm so glad you're a part of this No Former Athlete community. And if you know any No Former Athletes that you think I should get in touch with, DM me on Instagram at NoFormerAthlete. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.